And welcome back to Lake Barrington for the last two events of these fantastic World Rowing Championships. And first on are the men's heavyweight quad sculls. In lane 1, West Germany, Holland in lane 2, Soviet Union in lane 3, Italy in lane 4, Switzerland 5, and in lane 6, Sweden closest to the camera. And that's Italy. Again, Italy, this strong nation here, this strong nation under Tor Nielsen, taking it off very cleanly, very powerfully from the first stroke.
This is probably the most difficult event to win in the whole of the World Championships. The standard between these 6 crews is very, very similar. The Dutch crew, world champions from last year, only won their event from the Italians in silver medal position by very smallest of margins. And on the far side, nearest the camera in lane 6, the Swedish crew, bronze medalists from last year, who only just reached the final, pushing out Denmark by 0.02 of a second. So see straight away the standard's very, very high.
Poland and Norway, who were in it last year, haven't made the final this year. West Germany on the far side just slipped back a bit. But showing up first now are the Swiss in the wooden Stamfley boat, just sitting tucked in behind the Russians in lane 3.
The Russian quad has been the crew to watch all season. They dominated Lucerne International Regatta, winning in a record time of 5 minutes 40, which wouldn't disgrace most of the 8s that raced. And their hallmark is a very, very precise technique on the catch, only taking up as much of the water as they need. You won't see any blades going deep in that crew.
Very, very nice blade work. And in a way unusual for the Russians. The Russians, apart from the pair, the Pimenovs, the Russians tend to be really quite a hefty, kind of banging kind of a nation in rowing terms. But here they're looking extremely nice, extremely adept and neat at the catch. Beautiful blade work.
I think part of the reason is where the scullers are based. They tend to be based in the Ukraine as opposed to Moscow, where the rowers are based, and I think they have different type of coaching there, and clearly the emphasis there is on technique and being precise, and they've had some success with that.
The Swiss are putting up a very, very good performance here. They're matching them well. Their technique not quite as good. They're throwing up a bit of water there at the finish, particularly at stroke. That's Mark Nater, but they're lying in second position with Italy there tucked in between them. Those 3 crews making the running at the moment. Bowman very coolly looking across, just watching the Swiss to make sure that he's got them in his sights.
This Swiss crew, they have got a New Zealand trainer that's gone over to Switzerland for the past 2 years. The 2 in the bow of the boat were Olympic silver medalists in the double sculls, and they've got 2 young lads in the stern of the boat. One of them an ex-junior only last year, so he's very new to this senior level. And clearly Harry Mahn has done an excellent job with the technique of the crew, and this is good news for Swiss rowing.
Sweden on the near side just coming into the picture there. They were 3rd last year. They're moving up into the 4th position, but Russia looking quite supreme, moving up towards the 1500-meter mark. The Swiss pressing them all the way, but they're not ruffled, the Russians. The stroke man hasn't really looked across at all. It's the bow man who seems to be doing the calling. Italy's still there. Nothing's changed in the last 500 meters. The crew's still sitting exactly in the same positions, but Russia looking confident just in front. Sweden in 4th position.
A good shot of the Italian quadruple scull there. The stroke, Filippo Soffici was a world junior champion. He's no stranger to Great Britain. He's been to race here many times before, and he's been in the unlucky position of being silver medalist last year. So with the Italian quad back on form this year, you can expect to see a strong finish from them. Looks though the Swiss have tidied up their technique a little bit at the finish there. Very precise on the catch.
Still throwing a bit at the finish, which just loses them that bit of purchase at the end of the stroke. And with 500 meters to go, it's Russia still out in front, Switzerland in 2nd, Italy pressing in 3rd, and Sweden looking for that bronze medal.
No loss of form from the Russian crew at all. Their blades have gone on one depth throughout this race, consistently through. Just remains to be seen if the Swiss can raise a spurt in the last part of the race.
There really has been no change since they passed the 1,000-metre mark in those positions. They haven't really changed at all. It's only that the Swedes have come up to challenge the Italians for the third place at the moment. But the Russians, very cool, all of them looking, and it's lovely to see the way that they're moving so well in unison through the stroke to the finish, well within themselves, and they start to wind it up now. And here come the Swiss, winding it up as well. The Italians trying to fight off the Swedes. The Russian bowman, Gertz Bilks, looking round for the finish, and they've got it. That's Russia in first place. The Swiss nearly caught by the Italians, who hold off the Swedes into fourth. And there in fifth place, Holland, with West Germany in sixth. So Soviet Union confirming that good season performance all through the season this year. Switzerland in second place, very creditable performance. Italy taking third, holding off Sweden in fourth position. One last chance to see that superb Russian crew who've been dominant really all year. And so to the men's heavyweight